Hello there and welcome to episode 14 of the Not So Casual Gamer podcast. My name is Sam Christensen. Lewis is joining me as always. Lewis Cunningham, how are you today?
Fine.
Fine. You're a bit tired.
Oh no, I didn't say fine. I said...
What did you say?
I said 14.
14. Like the number 14.
Like the number 14.
I'm feeling 14 today. Just
For some
worried.
reason.
I'm just worried about school. I haven't worried about school in so long.
Oh, you wouldn't be long getting frostbitten on the way to school.
Have you seen him? Not that we're already off on a tangent here. He got attacked by a shark or something.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah, that's right.
There was there's video clips of him, surfacing around, and he's like a big shaggy hair and shaggy beard and all this. Hilarious. Anyway, that's the you'll no be long getting frostbite boy for anyone wondering who we're talking about. Yeah, a nice tangent to start off the episode, which I'm into. That's really good.
It happened probably because I'm delirious, because I've not had enough sleep, and I had a full grueling day at work.
Full grueling day.
Amongst other things, and just... I'm lucky isn't the right word at all. I'm clearly losing the plot here. I'm glad that this will be a less cerebral episode. Oh my god.
Let's keep your talking to a minimum here. By the title today, we're actually going to talk a little bit about the PlayStation Showcase that just happened.
Thank God.
I know, yes. Because it has been so long, but it's one of these, it seems like it's that kind of once a year thing anyway, so it seems like big enough news to talk about, so we'll go into that. I was about to complain about how I've done nothing at all, so I'm not going to do that because I feel like that wouldn't be fair to you, because I'm going a bit stir crazy in the house. So
well, yes, we've lost the plot for different reasons.
So we're both just all over the place mentally, and that's absolutely fine.
There's actually a good chance that this chair is going to collapse during this episode,
and it will stay in the episode, and it will not be edited out. I'm not going to do it.
Because for anyone that cares to know, my desk chair that I've had for
14 years.
I think it is actually.
Is it close to?
I think it's almost 40, like something like that. It is comically falling apart. I'm kind of holding on to it partially for that reason.
For nostalgic reasons, yeah.
Well, just because it's so ridiculously shitty now that actually it will be funny the day that I do fall off it and it falls apart, because it's gonna happen. It's got to.
I just hope it is on the podcast, because that will be the. I'll start making sound bites for the Instagram, like it's just the sound bite of you falling off the chair.
What a great moment that would be, captured in all its glory,
in all its audio glory.
I'll probably have a tea in my hand and everything, like.
So we've as we discussed in the last episode, we were late with that episode because I had to have some surgery. I'm 3 weeks on, still in recovery, still off work, and the days merge into one. I feel like I'm in lockdown again, which is great when everyone else isn't. It's not too bad. I'm getting better now. I went with Kerry to do a Tesco shop yesterday. Oh yeah. And had to take some painkillers before to make sure. Half an hour I was there for. I was holding on to the trolley to support myself as I went around, and I was still in pain when I finished, which was just great. So little and often is the key, not longer stints of walking. So we're getting there.
If that's the key, what's the secret?
The secret is to do none of that and just sit on the couch and play video games. That's the secret.
Well, that, I suppose, that's your silver lining, is that you've had no reason not to catch up on games.
Well, that
or maybe you have. Well, we'll find out in a second.
I have got some stuff to play. You've not, though. Is what you were telling me beforehand. So yeah, we can kind of, this won't be as long an intro section. Then.
Well, I didn't really plan on it. It's quite funny though how I can literally go from one episode to the very next one being the complete opposite.
Well, that one episode was centered around the fact that we had played so many games that we were able to fill an episode as a catch-up episode.
Totally. I really enjoyed talking about all those, even though I hadn't sunk loads and loads of hours into those games, but I really enjoyed.
But individual experiences.
Yeah, the hours that I did have, I did enjoy. But oh boy, in the last 2 weeks, I have not put many hours at all in. I can't honestly. I can't. I don't even know. I think I've only played a touch of Psychonauts 2, like no more than a couple of days after the last episode.
Okay,
So
and that's kind of it.
yeah, for sure. The only, I mean, I think so. It's been such a blur.
Well,
Nothing else of note, certainly.
well, we can talk about Psychonauts because I've played a little bit of it as well.
Yeah.
It's really good, but it's just fine. That's a very pointless statement. It's very good, but it's just fine. It's a very good game. It's just fine to me. That's probably a better way of putting it.
I definitely expected that reaction from yourself.
I've just played many other superior action platforming games. Visually, it's got an art style. There's that whole intro sequence where you're chasing him down the dentist guy down and it's trippy and the rooms are spinning and stuff.
Yeah,
that was really, really cool. And then all that stopped after that for the next couple hours of gameplay. I felt like that was such a cool opener.
Yeah, it does. It sort of does kind of
grind to a halt.
It calms down a bit to get you through the kind of tutorial-y stuff, but it does start to pick up again.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. It was only in the last couple of days that I've played it, so I'm not at a point where I'm like, it's off my list. It's still there. I've just had some more stuff that I've been playing this weekend. But Psychonauts, it's really good looking. It's.
I think it's one of those ones where it is a bit more of an acquired taste than something like Ratchet and Clank.
Yes.
I think, I sort of said that had I started that instead of Psychonauts 2 at that time, I probably would have endeavoured more to finish it. Probably not least because I would have paid for it.
You would have paid for it. Yeah, that's
but
the big thing.
It also, I think, is just a bit more of an accessible kind of full-on cinematic experience where...
Well, that's when I was playing Psychonauts, I was like, oh, this is great. I wish I was playing Ratchet and Clank because I've still not played it myself. I'm just waiting for it to jump into its first sale or whatever. So
I think the core audience that are going to be really into Psychonauts 2 and appreciate it for what it is are the ones that will get out of it, the kind of quirky mind stuff.
But also will have played the first one, more likely.
A lot of them will have.
Which
yeah,
I haven't.
Totally. So. And I think I would have probably had a much better appreciation as well if I'd played the first one. I mean, I feel like I have now got quite a good idea because I got really interested in the sort of world of it somehow because I'm not usually one for doing that, no. but just because I was so intrigued by so many of the little bits and pieces that it was throwing at me that I kind of looked up stuff about the first game and all that, and I kind of knew it wouldn't be a game in itself that would hold me if there was a reason for me to drop off, which unfortunately there was. I've been so busy the last 2 weeks that I didn't plan on this being the case, but it just kind of, I was either too tired or whatever, where it was just like, I just didn't have the mental energy, pun intended, to kind of
the psychic mental energy.
Yeah, to stick with it. I still like it though, and I do hope to get back to it. But
okay. I was never to ask, is it off the list, or are you keeping it on the console just now?
I always hate when I end up leaving big gaps in between games. Like, I don't know why. It's hard to always go back.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, I've only played about 2 hours of it. I'm in the sequence with the woman that runs the show. I don't know. I can't remember anyone's
the
name.
Sort of teacher.
Yeah, the teacher, and I've just been introduced to the slightly more tankish. The enemy types are cool because they're like regrets and all that. Yeah. But what censor the brute censor or whatever it is, I just got into that bit and I was losing my patience with it ever so slightly, and I just died a couple of times. I was like, I'll come back to this. And then that's the moment where I probably won't. But we'll see.
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying it was hard. I was just like...
I'm not a huge fan of the combat.
The combat's not great.
I think for me, the game is all about the platforming,
Yes.
the level design,
Yep.
and just the kind of fascinating stuff that goes on in that.
And that's what I want to see, but I kind of just feel like it's grinding to a halt when combat comes along. Because I'm not saying it's hard, but it's not like, one punch and they're gone, like, any, like other platformers and stuff like that.
Whereas as we know, I mean, we've not played the most recent one, but having played the reboot of Ratchet and Clank 5 years ago, whatever it was, it's on the combat side of things, it's definitely much more of a joy to play.
Well, I feel like it's designed more around the combat because the guns are
definitely.
such a big thing. Anyway, Psychonauts 2. I'll report back if I play any more on the next episode.
For sure.
Is there anything else of note? Played some Descenders.
Oh yeah, after my tirade.
Your praise. I don't know what you were smoking when you said it was better. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. It's good. It's good. It's just not as good to me as Riders Republic for the
Well, that is one that we will eternally agree to disagree on.
Which is fun. I like it. I like no, that's not to say I wasn't having fun, because I was like I got to the last biome, as it were, the Alps or the snowy mountain.
Oh wow, you really committed then.
Oh yeah, but that was in like the second sitting. No, the second go around of the whatever mode it is that you keep going with the lives. Like
Wow,
I said,
so you don't even struggle with it, and you still don't like it.
No, it's not that I don't like it. I do like it.
You don't? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it?
What would you rate it? I've not given it enough time for ratings and things like that.
I just wanted to say.
No, I know. But in terms of, so I couldn't put a definitive pin on it, but it is definitely one that I will keep on the console to jump into for that little 20 minutes, half an hour. But like I said, I'm quite good at these kind of games. That's why Riders Republic, I think, worked for me so quickly, was because I got it quickly. Like the control scheme made sense to me, and I was good at it.
I mean, that
makes
kind
such
of
a difference.
That just drives home my feeling of being even more perplexed, because speaking to someone that is good at these types of games, so you get a feel for them much quicker than I do. And you still don't realise that it's clunky as shit, and Descenders isn't.
But Riders Republic isn't
To my
clunky.
hands.
To your hands, maybe. But I did not find it clunky.
I guess
I don't find either of them clunky, to be honest. That's the
you
thing.
did say that you found it clunky last time.
Because I had given it like 4 minutes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I did not give it enough time. And then like I played it, died in the forest bit, and then was like, okay, right, I kind of understand it. I was getting it a bit more, and then got to the last stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as like it's more of a skate.
Yes.
For biking, I think Descenders.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Like it's not totally realistic, the physics, but there's something about the feel of it. It's almost as if it feels like realistic physics, but for something else.
Okay.
Other
yeah,
than
I get
bikes.
that. I get that.
And it's just really satisfying for me to control. And just the kind of the mantra of the whole game, and how they kind of succinctly package in a quite cool bike vibe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I like the loop of it. I like the sort of bonus objective to gain an extra bit of health and stuff.
Yeah.
But there were times where it was just like, oh, come on. No, I didn't clip that. I didn't die there. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, there was some moments of that where it was kind of fighting against me a little bit more. But it's an indie game. It looks just so bad.
It looks terrible, yeah.
I hate looking at it, but it is fun to play. So
I mean, that's one of these things for me.
But I mean, so is Skater XL. Skater XL isn't a
Well,
pretty game to
exactly.
look at. It's fun to play, so that's, I'll play it.
This, I mean, and particularly since the Game Pass breakthrough
Yes.
that I had, I am just completely and utterly not bothered by poor graphics anymore. It used to be. It used to be such a big thing to me.
Yeah.
It used to be something like, well,
You can trade your TV in, then you don't need that OLED,
Well, no, but to me, right, that the good TV means that you still just get the purest, most accurate vessel of what the game is trying to. So
Yeah.
So it's like you're seeing it warts and all.
Mhm. Okay.
the way it's meant to be displayed. Like the actual display side of things is still really important to me, no matter how bad. Like that's on the game to look good. My TV is doing its damn part. My TV looks good. The game looks damn bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The game looks like how it's meant to,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm into.
Fair.
There's no such thing as good. It's accurate. Remember this.
Of course, absolutely. So many lessons learned. And then, so that was it on the Xbox side. I downloaded Hitman 2, played the first level.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I need to try that because
it's just not for me. I tried the first one, didn't like it. I was hoping that 2 was gonna do something, but nah. It's the same game.
So for the first reboot,
I remember this.
They tried to do it and they released it in episodes. I stupidly bought into the idea of it and bought like the first part.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'd only ever played Hitman Absolution before that, which if you ask any Hitman fan, they'll tell you it's the worst one.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it at the time.
Fair.
Because it was this kind of like
folly of youth.
quite almost like different stealth game. I was really into stealth games at the time, coming off the back of Metal Gear Solid, and that I was like, well, let me try all these other things.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but yeah, it's I can see why it's kind of boring, really. But because this is just the full whack, it'll be unencumbered and it's obviously free.
Yeah.
I'm definitely intrigued to go back in and see if it grabs me again.
Top tip. If you want to play it in 4K 60 frames per second,
all right,
download Hitman 3. There's a Hitman 3 player. Because Hitman 3, I don't know how much you know about it, but you can install Hitman 1 and 2 on your console, launch Hitman 3, and play all the games in 4K 60. All the levels are there from start to finish. You can play them all, right? In one launcher.
That's actually...
You can buy Hitman 3 or you can just download the free Hitman 3 launcher. So you're just downloading the engine, download 2, and then play it through Hitman 3. You've got the PS5 version of Hitman 2.
Does it give you, does it have the strands of story as well? Or?
Yeah, per game. Now, you don't have all the games, of course.
Bizarre.
You won't have one. I've got one because it was a PlayStation
No,
Plus game,
I just mean for 2.
For 2, you'll have all of it.
To be honest, I'm probably not going to know what's going on anyway.
I don't think anyone really cares.
I think Hitman's one of those ones where it's literally just about, kind of getting the satisfaction of doing it, finding out the things.
I did the opening mission, and it was fine, but I was like, I'm just going to jump off this for the same reason I jumped off the first one. Like, it's not doing anything innovative over that. I'm not saying it isn't better, because I'm sure there's more detail, there's more, and apparently 3 was great and stuff, but I don't know. It's just...
they've all been really highly rated.
For sure. But I'm just not a stealth guy, because I just get too stressed out, because I end up getting stressed out and then I just rush through it, and then that makes me more stressed out because then everyone catches me. I think it's just more a patience thing, which you need in
you definitely need a lot of patience,
yeah. So Hitman 3, 2, you can technically play the PS5 version.
I will do that. I'm glad
in a weird
you
way.
told me that, because I didn't know that.
It's just odd. I've not checked out if that is, I looked up, because when I launched it, obviously you go into HDR calibration and check if it's on frame rate mode or all this. So I went into the settings, and there was you can uncap the frame rate. That's fine, but you can favor performance. You can favor resolution. So I just searched. I was like, because remember when with God of War just now, you still have to put that on to favor fidelity.
Yeah.
But it does run at checkerboard 4K 60 FPS.
Yeah.
So I was like, does this have a specific combination that makes it the best it can be? And then it said, no, the way to do it, you can play it by downloading the free launcher.
I'm glad you've actually been quite reliable with telling me whenever these things happen in games. Yeah. Where do you see these things, by the way? Because I don't even...
Twitter.
I don't really...
No, that was me just searching, for it. I got the answer kind of accidentally on that one.
Totally.
But, so didn't play much of that, and obviously just more Warzone and stuff like that. But 6 wins this week, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
3 yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago? Don't remember. In one sitting.
You probably have been in the zone, so to speak.
A little bit more in the war zone. And but I caved and I pre-ordered Vanguard.
I saw you were playing the.
Played the open beta.
You
it's-
like?
That's great, man.
Is it
It's
good?
just so good. Like, it's so dorky. Like, I've never been a Call of Duty guy before Warzone. Like, I really haven't. And
I wouldn't say it is dorky because it's the most mainstream game there
I know,
is.
or maybe it's just so basic of me. Maybe that's what I mean more than anything. Like, it's pure basic, but
You like what you like.
I like what I like. But,
I like Descenders, you know.
and so do I. Just not as much as Riders Republic.
I love it. I love it.
No, but I've been playing it. It's definitely it's in a good spot where it's not giving me too much for this beta. I mean, there's going to be 20 maps at launch, which is really cool.
Yeah.
16 of them being sort of core regular Call of Duty multiplayer maps and stuff. So there's only 3 in the beta just now. So it's not like I've seen all the game has to offer. And there's a bunch more weapons that will be added, and everything has a level cap and stuff. So
Yeah.
I've like reached a level cap with a couple of weapons and stuff. So I've played it for a good 4 or 5 hours.
And it's not just 4K Call of Duty 2.
No, it's not. But this is the
That was a
thing.
joke.
No, for sure.
Of course it's not.
But what's really cool about it is that they're kind of not worried about a sense of realism
Yeah.
with the guns.
That's right.
So, for example, like, it'd be such a step backwards to go from like Modern Warfare, with all of its, extended mags and hollow sights and
Yeah.
suppress, all these things that really just weren't about in World War II warfare in the same way, but they've just gone, well, yeah, we're just going to keep that. And, you can put like 5 attachments on your gun in Warzone. You can have 10 attachments on these guns. So they've just like doubled
Well,
it.
okay, so are they overtly, like, obviously, blatantly going for an alternate history? Or?
Well, that I'm not too sure of yet.
Because I
'Cause
kind
don't
of-
know what the campaign's going to do,
I sort of wish they would.
Oh, me too.
They might as well.
They might as well, and I think they will. But I think this is going to be a really good overall package this year. I think this is why I pre-ordered it. I was like, well, I'm going to be playing Warzone, especially because the new map has been confirmed. I don't know if you saw it, but it's been confirmed. It's a Pacific island, foliage and jungle and all this. It looks great. Some screenshots have come out. I'll show you
that was
later.
a good thing.
So that'll be when you jump back into it. But it's going to be on this engine. And
Oh, you're talking about Warzone?
Warzone, yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, it's the new map for Warzone, right?
Yeah, I like to try that one.
For sure. It's all same size as Verdansk and, jungle and, multi-level, like,
That'll be good.
caves and,
That'll be good.
underground systems
Yeah.
and stuff. So it'll be cool. And they're updating the engine to be on the Vanguard engine, which is just an updated version of the Warzone engine. So it's just they're reiterating it. But what that means is that there'll be a PS5 version of Warzone coming out.
Yeah.
There'll
Give it those
be-
haptics.
There'll be turn them
I
off.
want to be immersed.
There'll
I want to
be-
be immersed in the war zone. I don't want to feel like it's a fake ass war. This got to feel like a real Pacific war zone, man. Give it those haptics.
You take those haptics and lose all the fights, but that's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll maybe
then-
turn it off after the first game.
Yeah, for sure. But but there's obviously the to have because Cold War did not. It was on a completely different engine. Doesn't feel. It looked great. It looks fine, obviously, but it doesn't feel good. I think I spoke about this when I talked about the alpha from a couple of weeks ago. So it's going to be nice to have like a complete package of Warzone goes with multiplayer, goes with this, goes with that. But Treyarch are actually doing the zombies mode for it. So this is the first time that Treyarch are doing a zombies mode for a game that they're not making, because this is a Sledgehammer game. So there's quite an interesting sort of symbiosis. It's got the Modern Warfare engine from Infinity Ward. It's Sledgehammer making the game, and Treyarch are doing the zombies. So
Wow.
and Raven, who support Warzone just now, are doing Warzone going forward as well, which is good because they've been doing a good job of late. So it's an exciting time
What
to be.
a smorgasbord.
Oh yeah, every Activision studio is just working on Call of Duty, and that's fine, except from who would have made another Tony Hawk game. So that sucks, but whatever. So
Yeah, what the hell?
I know. Anyway, we've spoken enough. Weirdly enough, for us, you have not having played any games, we're at 25 minutes. So let's keep going. The PlayStation Showcase was
Yes.
on Thursday. I watched it live. You didn't.
I'm annoyed at that. I really wanted to be able to, but I couldn't.
Were you working?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was on a gig, so.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. I'm going to bring up the article here, and we're just going to go through talk about some of the, we'll talk about all the games. I've got an IGN article here, so I'm just going to go through them. We'll spend very little time on certain ones and a bit more time on others. And then what I wanted to do was kind of compare it to what some of the other companies have been doing, afterwards. There's definitely been, unless you don't go on social media or follow any of this, there's been way more of a buzz from like a PlayStation conference than any kind of Xbox conference of late.
Well, I think there was a bit of a sense of they've regained a bit of goodwill.
Well, that's it exactly,
because they had a bit of,
they were so silent for so long.
Well, they also were doing quite anti-consumer things as well.
Well, they've gone back on their Horizon one.
Yeah, there was that, and just the fact that they are being seemingly, penny pinching as well, and like closing the stores, and there just seemed to be a line of things they were doing, and then they just kind of almost like were not the Sony of the PS4 generation. And I think a lot of people are disappointed that some of the cool guys are away, like Sean Layden and stuff. I miss that guy.
Yeah, and Shuhei's like been demoted or something. You know what I mean?
It's kind of sad, but hey, if they keep putting out quality AAA games, that's the bread and butter. And they showed that off in this.
Oh, I mean that's the thing. Like I want to preface all this by saying that I wouldn't class myself as like a PlayStation fanboy.
Sony pony.
I'm not a Sony pony, but I am a fan of PlayStation. It's just where I gravitate to, much like yourself as well. And things have kind of changed since we got the Xbox, and there was this almost doubt in the back of my mind going, is that me kind of split? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is that really, going forward?
I mean, I would definitely say
you're more split than ever before.
Fully agnostic, 50-50. Potentially even leaning towards Xbox these days.
Which is so interesting, whereas this showcase came out, and I messaged you back and forth about it, and we talked about it, decided we'll talk about it today, but it just was like, okay, yeah, that's why I just love the PlayStation so much. Like
when I messaged you, it was, I think you sort of got the wrong impression that you made it sound like I had no feelings for it.
Not at all, but it was a me showcase.
It was right up specifically your alley,
100%.
110%. There's still a lot that I liked about it, which we'll get into. But for you, it was like
it was the perfect showcase.
Nail on the head. You know what I'm saying?
There's only a couple of things I would have liked to have seen that we didn't. Like factions multiplayer or something like that, but we'll get there.
Well, I think that was probably the main disappointment for me was that there was one or two things that I think I was maybe expecting to be there that weren't, like factions. But hey,
anyway, let's just go through. We'll take as little time or as much time as we need on each of these. I'm going in order of what they're putting it in, and it's not in order of.
There will be one or two here that we will literally not even say
for sure 3 words. It doesn't go in the order of when it was announced, so I'm just going from bottom up because it starts off with the big announcements at the top, so I want to end on those. Radiohead.
So
I hate this so much.
Obviously, you hate Radiohead.
It's not even a hatred of Radiohead. I just don't like Tom York, but I don't listen to Radiohead. That's the thing. But I also just hate this.
Well. Does anyone know what it is?
Radiohead and Epic Games tease mysterious collaboration, Kid Amnesia Exhibition. Which is
I was so confused because when I was scrolling back through the thumbnails, I was like, Kid Amnesia, like that's Radiohead albums. I saw right away. I was like, what, so they're just taking the names of them and it's a game inspired by them.
No,
and I went on. It's full on a Radiohead game. Or something.
I think it's saying something about an exhibition, so it might be like an interactive.
I think it's going to be something like some sort of trippy interactive into their music
system or something. Maybe,
which I'm all for.
I mean, that does sound cool, but why did it have to be Radiohead? Sorry, Radiohead fans, but that sounds awful.
I mean, I'm a sort of
you're a
slight Radiohead fan. I quite like some of their music. I'm going to say I'm going to smoke some weed and do this thing. Unless they're charging too much money for it, in which case I'm not buying it.
Which I could see them doing, because it seems like a they.
Well, I don't know, because
I was just saying that facetiously. I don't really know.
Well, if anyone knows, they sort of spearheaded the whole internet music age thing back in Rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
They basically put on digital and were like, pay what you want.
Maybe they'll do that here.
So we'll see.
Pay what you want on PS5. Anyway,
Yeah, I doubt
I don't have anything else to say because it was super mysterious, and I actually had no idea what it was as I was watching the teaser. It still got to the end because I didn't know what Kid A Amnesia. I didn't know what that was.
They're just two of their albums
for sure.
So
I know that now, but I didn't know what it was at the time.
it looked kind of horror-y.
It did, like because Kerry and I were watching it, and she was like, "What was that?" And I because like my pet peeve. This is why I prefer watching these with you. Sorry, Kerry, but like a trailer will start and it will be like the mysterious start for the trailer, and she'll be like, "What is it?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. If I know, I'll say." Like, if I go, "Oh, that's
that definitely would have been an interesting one.
So
to react
when she
to.
goes, "What is that?" I'm going, I don't know. Anyway, the free-to-play Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt is arriving on PS5 later
Next.
this year. Yeah, for sure. I believe it's a battle royale vampire game.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah, me either. This I understand why this was here at the showcase, but I'm almost put off ever wanting to see this game ever again. Deathloop had another trailer at this. Why? I get why, because it's launching
I
like in 2 weeks.
can't wait until it's out so that we can never see it again.
Yeah, aye,
I'm not playing this game, by the way.
It's not. It's the same thing that almost kind of would like stress me out with Hitman, being that there's you're doing that kind of, you maybe need some patience, but then you can't be too patient because someone's like hunting you at the same time, and if you mess up then you need to start all over again. And we spoke about this with 12 minutes, that like hearing the same bits of dialogue at the beginning of going round and round and round, and I was like, so anyway, Deathloop.
Well, I mean,
head away.
the thing is, it is annoying for me because I'm a big fan of Dishonored.
Yes,
I really like Dishonored 1 and 2. I tried going in with the kind of side game on Game Pass, but I was like, I've had enough Dishonored. I didn't really need to play it. I was like, it's whatever. But I really enjoyed 2.
Yes.
When I went and played it on PlayStation Now, actually, when I had my trial.
Hey.
And it really surprised me. I played it right through. Lockdown helped with that, of course, but yeah, it's disappointing because I'm not that. It kind of does look like it plays like Dishonored,
straight, aye, absolutely.
But at the same time, and it's got a cool art style with the whole 60s
and
thing.
Some of the trailers that we've seen where it's like original music in it,
it's really stylish,
really cool.
But it's really combat heavy, and it's just kind of not Dishonored, and I'm like, not for me.
Yeah, not for me either. Guardians of the Galaxy gets another sassy new trailer ahead of launch.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say. Just please don't.
It's going to be an average game. I don't know how you can see it. I can see it coming for miles.
For miles. If there's the weirdest thing that it ends up being really good, I'll pick it up way down the line on a sale.
We've seen a lot of gameplay and everything. It just it just looks so average.
100%. But we'll be talking more about Marvel.
Absolutely.
Marvel were killing it here. Ghostwire Tokyo, new trailer. Still no release date.
They're still not showing much. It's like really fast snippets of gameplay. And I'm like,
slow down.
Enough.
Yeah.
Slow your ass down.
You're a fan of what is it?
Tango
GameWorks.
Well, I enjoyed.
You had an Evil Within T-shirt.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Evil Within 1 at the time.
Yes.
And then I kind of skipped 2. It was like more of the same when it came out. And then again, I think it was on PlayStation Now, and I went to try it there. It's like, here we go, right? Oh god, like I think it was only a few, like 3 years or something after that game came out. But oh wow, it like aged like milk, instantly. It was horrific to play that game. I was like, oh, this is bad.
Isn't it meant to be horrific?
But not
horror terrific.
Not in the right way. It was. No. It really just felt, having played a bunch of Resident Evil games and loved them since the first Evil Within, it is just truly a poor man's Resident Evil.
Interesting.
Not good.
It's what's his face worked on Resident Evil, didn't he?
Well, yeah, that's the weird thing.
Yeah,
I think
a big player in that.
It was an outlet for him to kind of get out more of his horror ideas that he had, and definitely in the first game there was some really like awesomely horrific things, like bosses and stuff, just like, oh my god, skin crawling stuff, which was great. But the engine, and it was so clunky and crusty to play the second one, and they had added in mechanics and kind of semi-openness, and I was like, nah, I'm not willing to put up with this to see some of the cool horror stuff. I don't know how we got on such a tangent about Evil Within.
Well, just because Ghostwire Tokyo, but there you go.
I'm hoping it turns out like something I want, but I'm slightly fearful that it's kind of too fast actiony for me, based on what I've seen. We'll see.
I get it. Cool. Let's see here. Laptop holding up okay?
Yeah, I've not noticed any pauses or anything.
we're using a slightly jankier setup today, but when I turned the laptop on, it was very slow. So, but it seems to be going fine. I'm counting on it doing that because I don't want to re-record
we're doing
anything.
well for squeezing the life out of technology.
We really are. The next game is Chia, TCHIA.
Quite like the look of that.
Oh, me too. Is a game inspired by New Caledonia that lets your soul jump into animals. Sorry, I have to say there was moments of it where it was going over to like landscape shots, and I was like, that's just absolutely stunning. Like, it just looked so beautiful, and had a ukulele system that was very reminiscent of The Last of Us's guitar system, which is so strange.
So that threw me, because that was near the start of the trailer.
That
was
was
like,
the beginning. I was like,
what's happening here?
Just like the clicker comes out in the back and stuff.
Oh goodness!
Is this Factions multiplayer? It's
honestly,
like Fortnite or something.
Nothing surprises me anymore. So that
no, I was don't know much more about it, but looks interesting. It's probably not one of these like day one purchases unless it's like £20.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah. Here's the thing though, because not that it's going to be that similar of a game, but it might be that sort of thing in terms of, because I'm getting similar vibes of a game that's coming out, I think, really soon. Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah.
I think I'm still quite interested in that game.
Me too.
It's only $32.99.
Is it?
That's the RRP, and I'm like, have I got the wrong impression of this game? Because on the PlayStation Store it's $32.99. Is it really short, or what the hell? Because for Sony that seems strange that they would charge so little these days for. It's a first party game, right?
It is.
Who's making it?
Maybe second party. Ember Labs, so second party.
Okay, right.
Pre-order comes out on the 21st of September. Very soon.
It just seems to have flown so much under the radar.
It looks beautiful.
Because I remember we've seen the couple of trailers for Kena, and I'm like,
I'm surprised that wasn't at the showcase for being.
Yeah, this is why I'm quite perplexed. So
Question
it could be one.
That.
Thing is, it looked really beautiful graphically. It could be one of these ones that's deceptive, where it's like, actually, as a game, it's pretty average.
Or maybe it's just that we hadn't seen any other like PS5 game really at the time, so we were like,
is it just bug snacks with really nice clothes on? You know.
Anyway, let's Chia.
There you go.
And Kena.
We'll see.
Gran Turismo 7. Cars.
I mean, now more than ever, cars and tracks in games look like real life.
Which we said last generation.
And that is literally all I can.
I almost got hyped for it when it went out to like a world map and then started zooming in. I don't know if you watched the trailer or anything for it.
No.
Because it goes out and I'm like, is this like Forza Horizon but Gran Turismo?
PlayStation Horizon?
Is this going to be really...
That would have been good, yeah.
And then, no, it's just that it's real world landmarks that you can take pictures of your car in front of.
Yeah. No. That sounds like Gran Turismo.
Like, hey, that's not what I want from you. I want an open world racing game like Forza. I don't care if you're ripping it off. I don't care. Just give me it.
You can be at peace because Horizon 5 is coming.
Well, that's exactly.
You have your Xbox.
Exactly.
You're there for it. We're there for it.
Day one there for it. Looking forward to it. So, Gran Turismo 7. Now, here's a controversial one. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been delayed.
I can't believe it's taking so long. What are they playing?
And no one is happy with how it was looking. Like, for the trailer, for everything they're offering, no one was happy.
Maybe we all had this warped idea in our head of what they were able to do with let's be honest, you can't. It's still fundamentally the same game.
Yeah.
It's all the same assets, the same engine that came out on PS3. Let's not forget.
Yes, 8 years ago, pretty much to the day. What day are we at today? What's the date? I don't have. 12.
12.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow is 8
Yeah.
years to the day.
So it'll be 8.5 years when that comes out. Now, because when they did the PS4 remaster, I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out and I got that at the time. I was thinking, this is a good. This really is a fresh coat of paint. It's playing great. I loved it all over again, as everyone else did.
Yep.
But
that was only like a year and change after it had come out in the first place.
So you would think
not 8.5 years.
You would think with a further 7-8 years of development on the same game, I think everyone had that idea of, it's going to be like a new game again. It's going to be somehow bombastic and better looking still. But actually, it looked identical to the PS4 version. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, yes, we're still watching compressed trailers.
Yes.
Without probably HDR will be in the game.
HDR
and all the rest of it.
But I mean, I think PC players would turn around and say that their version running at high specs and 4K 60 FPS is the definitive way to play it. So
it'll be the.
I would have been happier with just like a update for the PS4 version that made it run at 60. Just for the frame rate more than anything.
Because it hasn't done up to this point, has it?
No, because even playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again, just in sort of jumping in here and there. That's another thing I've been playing the past couple of weeks, but that's fine. It's still only at 30 FPS,
right?
And it's hard to go back to. I got used to it, but it's still not.
And that is an alien concept. Rockstar Games in 60.
Yes,
that will actually
surely only PC
feel quite well. Yeah, to us console, to us peasants that decide to lock ourselves off from achieving that years ago.
Go update your drivers every day, you son of a bitch.
I know. That really is quite a... We should possibly have that discussion one day.
I think we should. Genuinely, I think we should, because, I've played crossplay COD with some PC players.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my game crashed. Oh, sorry, my driver needs updated. Oh, sorry, this. And I'm just like, well, I turned it on. It's at 120 FPS just now on my PS5, so that's fine.
You're making that listener sink into their seat right now.
Yeah, sorry. You know who you are, if you're listening. Which you do actually listen, so still love you. Right. So yeah, GTA 5, it's been delayed. Why?
I genuinely, this wouldn't surprise me, and I made this semi-joke to you. What am I, American? Semi-joke to you. So, HDR is in Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's broken, as we know.
Yep.
Something that I'm very kind of acutely aware of.
I was when I turned it on and played a bit of it. And
it's really disappointing, because you would think for the biggest game studio on the planet, with the basically unlimited resources, that they would get that right, and they didn't. And they've to this day they've never fixed it. I don't know whether there's something in the engine or whatever that they can't. But I sort of said to you, it's taken them so long because they've sent all their graphics artists, designers back to school
to learn how to
color shade, because in HDR, because they clearly didn't know how to do it.
But the saving grace is that even with HDR off, that game is still breathtaking.
Sure,
it just is. Do you know what I mean? Like lighting in it. I mean, it's just it doesn't. It would be enhanced by a good HDR implementation, but it doesn't need it, like, for sure.
When it comes to, they definitely are class leading in SDR. They absolutely push the limits of that. But I would always say that HDR definitely always does, when implemented well.
Yeah.
Definitely takes it up another notch, no matter what it is. I don't care what you say.
Yep.
So that's why I really hope they don't botch it with this again.
Yeah.
Because it is happening. Cyberpunk, they botched it as well. Probably, they probably haven't fixed that either.
I don't think they fixed much.
Well, exactly. It's probably like on the bottom of their list.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird, because I think The Witcher 3 had a pretty good HDR presentation.
Certainly had good lighting. I've not checked its HDR. I think I've played it since we got the new TV.
But then it's already got quite a good leg up because the colours are so vibrant.
Yes.
Where it's maybe misleading us. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, another tangent has been had.
Yeah.
Alan Wake remaster. You got anything to say about Alan Wake?
Played it and enjoyed it when it was new.
Okay, so you've played it before?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the ones back. I think the second time I had a 360 during the sort of uni years.
Yeah.
Played it then, enjoyed it, didn't love it.
Fine.
I think it's definitely, even with, it does actually have quite an impressive remaster by the looks of it, visually, but it's aged badly in other ways. You know, you can tell that that old voice acting is so hot.
It reminded me of Heavy Rain. Like,
oh, yes.
When I was watching the trailer, I was like, this could just be another Heavy Rain game, and I'd be none the wiser.
I will eagerly await Remedy's next game because I'm a big fan of Remedy.
Mm. Oh, I liked. We spoke about Control. I enjoyed Control. I was just
absolutely love it.
The story made no sense at all.
Made a little sense. I sort of got the vague overall concept.
I like mysterious stories, but they still need to have some thread that I can cling to. That had none.
No, I wish that the problem, right? Is,
it might come together all at the end, but.
Well, no, you know...
it's all in text, isn't it?
Well, exactly.
That's
There's so much documentation that if you want to actually get a good grasp of it...
I was elected to lead, not to read. It's a Simpsons movie quote for anyone wondering there.
Indeed.
So Alan Wake, I've got no real interest in, and that's absolutely fine. We're going to skim by this one so fast that I'm actually just going to say it and then immediately not... pass it over to you. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction. Anyway, so the next one was...
well, I mean, I do have words.
Oh, interesting.
In terms of... I'm just going to reiterate how disappointed I am in Ubisoft generally. I think they've... I don't know. The thing is, I'm not speaking for the masses anymore.
No, but...
I absolutely hate what Ubisoft do these days. I hate it. I think they've taken their direction... I don't know. The most interesting thing they're doing right now is Riders Republic to me. And
yes,
I don't even like it that much.
I did.
So far, anyway. But, it's just so disappointing. Yeah. Like, that's not Rainbow Six. Come on.
No, even if it was just called something else.
We already had the discussion, I think, on the last one. So Warzone is Rainbow Six to me now.
It was weird for that to be at the PlayStation's press conference.
Yeah, what the hell?
Because they have their own Ubisoft forwards. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have their own things. Anyway, Uncharted 4.
Sure, yeah, the
Getting
remastered
for both that and the Lost Legacy.
So again, this would have been something 5 years ago. I would have been all over.
Yes,
like I was all about remasters and remakes, and I still am, given the right game.
Yes,
particularly if it's something I've not played before, or if it's been a long time or whatever. But had I not played 4 again
when the PS5 came out,
because they did sort of patch it, I think.
No,
kinda.
they didn't.
Oh, they didn't.
No.
So I played the PS4 Pro version.
PS4 Pro version, yeah.
Which was still
an upgrade on what
a bit of a boost from the original base version, and I really enjoyed it. Again, during lockdown, so I had a lot of the time to enjoy playing through other things again or whatever. Don't know.
I was at a point where I wanted to replay it and Lost Legacy, and I didn't because it was still at 30 FPS. So I'm just I'll see what the pricing is, and I'll just do it down the line when I'm ready to play it again. That's the version I'll play.
But this actually leads me to. Because they're clearly doubling down on doing this sort of thing. Re-releases, remasters, remakes. It's very much a Sony thing to do. And it really does make me think, when you compare it to the Smart Delivery on Xbox, could you make a case for hypothetically, if this was on Xbox, right? And Xbox had haptic feedback and all this stuff, like next-gen versions of their apps.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, would they be just giving you these versions for free if you already had those games and you would be getting all the features that came with it? Like, this is the one that's tipped the iceberg. Is that right? Tip
of the iceberg.
I don't know. This is the one that's now really made me think, this is quite money grabby.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've owned these games and I've played them, and let's be fundamentally, there's really not going to be much difference at all with these ones. But make no mistake, they're releasing this as a full-on new release.
Yeah, no, this is, like I said, this is only getting played if the circumstances are perfect.
Totally.
And there's not much money that needs to go into it or something, because I don't need to play them again.
I might have been interested had I not touched 4.
100%. That's why I'm not touching it again until the moment comes along. Because 60 FPS is like a big thing for me, especially for these third-person, like Last of Us. I jumped into.
Does it not get 60?
No, it's still now. 1, 2, and 3 on the Nathan Drake collection are all 60. So you could play 1, then 2, and then 3 on PS4, not even PS5.
Pretty weird, isn't it?
Play it all at 60, and then get to 4, the best looking and most recent one, and chop your frame rate in half, which is quite interesting. But
yeah,
potentially more controversially to some, not to me, I don't care, but it's on PC as well. So that's PC for getting the first Uncharted game.
Yeah, it's not day and date though, I don't believe. I think it's the PC version's coming out a few months later.
I think it is day and date. I think that's the whole thing. Is that
it's a different developer that's handling the port.
Maybe both of us are right in some aspect.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter to me. But anyone that's complaining about Sony games going on to, especially games that came out in 2016, or at least Uncharted 4 did, stop complaining because you sound like a prick. Dear. Let's move on from that because there's not much to say.
But the only last thing I'll say is that Naughty Dog are going to do dank DualSense stuff.
They are.
That's always the see this is what I mean when it comes down to PS5 versions of games or PS5 games. I really love the DualSense stuff and I want more of it. I've not had it. I feel starved of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to pay that full price just to get that.
No. But whereas I don't mind overly buying Ghost of Tsushima's PS5 upgrade was just on the border for me.
It works for you
because it had the DLC and stuff. So that was the perfect storm.
But this is why I brought up the comparison though, because I kind of just want them to be able to, in a cheaper way, just be able to give me the PS5 version of these games that I've already played and owned, so that I can just go, there it is, PS5 stuff is turned on, because they can do it.
Yeah.
Even if that means, okay, you pay the £10 to just get the PS5 version. Mm-hmm. Or it's free, and it just turns into the PS. Because I know that you can't they wouldn't be able to just send out a patch to the PS4. It's an inherently different app. I know that.
Yeah.
But even just a more consumer friendly way of just passing you on to the PS5 app version. Do you know what I mean? Well, because they're kind of they're locking it off totally.
There is ways to do it. I mean, Borderlands did it. Borderlands 3, the PS5 version was free.
But that's what I mean. Third party developers are doing it.
But then Tony Hawk's was paid for.
Some of them.
I know exactly, but Ghost of Tsushima was £10 for its. You wonder. I'm not defending them here. This sounds very Sony pony. I'm just more playing devil's advocate. For resolution and frame rate unlocking, that's a flick of a switch. But you wonder how much work actually goes into rewriting vibration patterns for each bit of the game. There will be some level of work, but it's how much is too much work versus a gesture of goodwill and consumer friendly. That's more the question with it, I think.
I actually think Sony are being quite nefarious because I think they're playing into the confusion as well.
Yeah, they're not saying much about
Hold the phone, by the way.
Phone is held.
Was there a £10 charge on Xbox to get to the XS version of Tony Hawk?
Yes.
Right, because that would have been ridiculous if there wasn't.
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good.
If
there's at least parity with the cross-platform stuff,
Cool. Forspoken. Did you watch the trailer for Forspoken?
Yeah. I really, really like the massive open vistas. The scenery in vistas look incredible.
Incredible, yeah.
Doesn't quite look like it kind of looks quite hack and slashy, quite Japanesey almost, and I don't know, maybe it'll be something that I'll enjoy playing, but there's a good chance it won't be.
I'm in the exact same boat, so we can move on from that there.
It's probably enormous as well.
Oh, for sure.
It's actually probably giving me vibes of ending up being something like a bit more of a less weird Nier.
Okay.
Almost.
It's written by Gary Whitta.
Oh.
Which I only found out today as well. Who wrote Rogue One.
Of course.
Among other things.
We'll put a pin in it.
Put a pin in that one. Let's see.
Not right now.
There's half of it that looks very intriguing.
It's probably too big for me.
Yeah, fair.
We'll see. We'll see.
That seems like a game that is perfect for perfect for if it becomes a PlayStation Plus game, but like that half price sale. You know what I mean? That's what it's.
I'm always willing to dive into the big ones under the right circumstances.
Here's one that I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised with, but I don't know why I was pleasantly surprised, because if you asked me what it was going to be before I saw it, I would have said it was this. But Tiny Tina's Wonderlands gameplay and release date revealed.
Oh, yeah.
Which is effectively just a spin-off of Borderlands. It will be using the Borderlands 3 engine. And
so you're into this then?
I'm into this because the best part about Borderlands 2 was the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep DLC pack, which was effectively a shorter version of this game.
Yeah. It kind of does like quirky things within the Borderlands.
Exactly. Well, it's effectively the way it's sort of played in that game as a DLC is that Tiny Tina is hosting a Dungeons and Dragons event, and you are playing out what they're narrating, like they're roll for initiative and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's
fun.
And what they roll, like, can we go this path, and it's like all blocked off, and then they roll, and then they says yes, you have been able to go through the path, and the path becomes clear or something like that, just a weird example. So it seems to be sort of playing into that, but there's like, it's guns, but there's also magic and like sort of more fantasy elements of it. Kind of feel like the combat kind of looked like the left hand of Skyrim, whereas the right hand would normally have a sword, but it had a gun. Do you know what I mean? Like that was kind of, the way I saw it. So Kerry and I watched it. It's definitely our main problem with Borderlands 3 was not how it played. In fact, it played very, very great. It was a joy to play.
Totally.
However, the story was utterly atrocious.
That's so bittersweet.
Just so terrible that made replaying it impossible. The gameplay's fun, but I just couldn't bear to go through the story again.
Well, this will just be something different within the
something
universe.
Different, same engine, should feel similar. So
I'm actually quite happy for you that you're going to be getting a nice little different Borderlands thing.
But also March 2022. Hey, every game don't release in March.
Oh my god, spring 22. What the hell?
It's going to be. It's
what
going
is
to be
even
so
happening?
hard to choose.
Oh god,
there's going to be a lot that falls by the wayside, and that's why like GTA.
Surely your priority is Horizon. It's got to be
100%. No, that's no question. But like, I'm actually quite glad that GTA is not looking as hot just now, because it's now been pushed to then, and it was like perfect in that November when I was like, oh, I want to play it again, and I've got time.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I'll play all these new games instead. I
don't know. We all did sort of gas ourselves up a bit too much, I think, because even when you saw the trailer and it's like, these character models and stuff are looking quite dated now.
Yeah. Not too bad though for.
Oh no! Listen, for a 2013 game, it is sensationally held up.
So I think
is it enough?
I think if I play it again, it'll be probably just the PS4 version. You know what I mean? Like just
after all this, yeah. We'll see. I'm gonna wait and see what the reaction is. Take the temperature.
Yep.
Is the HDR broken? Because I'm confident that my boy Vinny on YouTube will help me out with that.
Yeah.
Are the haptics good, etc., etc.
The seamless character switching. I have zero things to say about the upcoming hack and slash title, Project Eve.
Oh yeah,
the most Japanese looking thing of all time. And here we go. But this is us getting into the final four, the big four.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Right. If you want to know what makes me tick, gaming wise, here you go. So, picture this. I'm sitting on the couch.
I can't. Now, I would have loved. Now, because I know this one that you're about to talk about, I'm not going to spoil it, but not necessarily up my street. I might play it. I don't know what. We obviously have no idea what the game looks
What?
like in action.
Wait,
But
no, I
reacting
know
to
what-
this trailer
Okay,
together
right.
would have been.
I'll I wasn't actually talking about that one because I
Oh.
also had it. No, but I'm going to go and talk about it, and I'll go back to the other one because it actually makes more sense. So, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh god! Right. Okay, we're on a totally different.
Okay, right. Okay, so never mind. Right, I'm so out of order. That's hilarious. Right, let's
Hold
start.
my thoughts for the next few.
Yes, right. Here we go. So, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic is getting remade for PS5, timed exclusive. Even though it was an Xbox exclusive when it came out, that made me laugh so much.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
How did that happen?
It's stupid. It's not like I care what console it comes out
Why
on. Do you know
is
what I mean?
that
Like,
happening?
I don't care what console it comes out on because
Of course, of course.
But it just made me laugh so much. I don't know why it's happening, but it's fine. And
Weird.
I've never played it. That's not true. I tried playing it on a Mac because it was released on Mac.
We're so old, isn't
It
it?
was so old. Like, it was just like so hard to play. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
to play
this is the remake for you.
this is
This is like remakes to you, like what Resident Evil 2 and Shadow of the Colossus is for me.
100%,
Do you know what I mean?
100%. Even though technically it's not a game that I've played before, but it's like everyone says it's the best Star Wars game. It's an incredible Star Wars story. I know what happens like in the canon version of the story because obviously I've read up on it to know what happens, but I don't care. Like, I just can't wait to.
You're all in.
I can't wait. I just cannot wait. So that's really good. So Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, that's great. So right. We were talking about the same thing. I thought for a moment then. Anyway, doesn't matter. Picture this. I'm sitting there on the couch.
I know how this is going to play
Screen
out.
plays to black.
Yeah.
Marvel logo comes up.
You know what's coming. You're like,
Insomniac logo comes up. And I'm going,
here it comes.
is this Spider-Man 2? Holy shit, is this Spider-Man 2?
Here we go.
And then it's a bar scene.
Everyone's like, this is different.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then I knew it was, as soon as I saw the checkered shirt,
Oh,
the
you
bloody
knew?
knuckles, I was like, Wolverine, here we go. And then his claws came out, and I was like,
What a moment.
what a moment. Like,
Only-
oh my goodness.
Only Sony do this.
Only Sony do, like,
That's what
there
they're
was-
great at, you know?
Like, and this is the thing, like, I'm not, like, Wolverine's not at the top of my list of favorite superheroes on a Marvel thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not, but it's the specific circumstance of which that came about. It's watching a summer full of press conferences that really had no like stand up and go like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
they didn't, like a summer of E3 and Ubisoft forwards and Xbox showcases that did not make me stand on my feet, and then PlayStation come along and go, here guys, just sit back down because we're going to do it right here. Insomniac, who have just released Miles Morales, who have just released Ratchet and Clank, who are coming out and making a Wolverine game, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be, but from what they've been saying and from what people have been, articles coming out on it, it's like, I think it's going to be like a Last of Us of Logan, as in like quite single player focused, but quite gritty, real, almost down to earth story within it being like a superhero setting and stuff like that, which really piques my interest. If it's
Color
super
me
violent
intrigued, yes.
and maybe more linear. It doesn't need to be an open world game. Probably won't be an open world game.
Oh my god, if it was a linear game,
I think it will be, man. Like, I think it's going to be.
I would take my hat massively off.
I think
if
it's
they made that linear.
if it's what I want in my head, it is the Last of Us of superhero games, as in. Because Logan was that. Do you know what I mean? Like, the film Logan was, more of a down to earth story, but with a superhero element to it.
I'm in.
Give it to me.
Unless it turns out to be open world and action heavy, then
I'll
out.
still play it because it's Insomniac and I love Insomniac
Nah,
so
yeah,
much. Anyway, it's still going to be a great one.
It's going to be really cool to see.
But Spider-Man makes sense for an open world. Spider-Man's in New York.
Of
Spider-Man
course,
swings
yeah.
about.
It's got to be.
Wolverine just runs about and.
No,
has
you're right.
claws
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
doesn't
So
really make sense.
It doesn't really make sense for it to be an open world game. There might be more open elements, kind of like Last of Us 2 did, where you.
Yeah, it's kind of like doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like,
when you think about it, you're like, oh wait, no, that's
what's
weird.
his
That's
traversal
weird.
system? His motorbike. Well, you could,
Days Gone.
Yeah, there you go. It's the Days Gone of superhero.
It'll be
games.
Days Gone done right.
There
Oh,
you
I don't
go.
know.
So, trailer, Gran Turismo trailer after, I can't remember the order, whatever, because I'm out of order on this article here. And then next thing. So
Here we go. The main sauce.
there's so many main sauces. New York street corner, and I'm going, and then this lightning bolt hits the lamp post, and I'm going. It can't be Spider-Man. This is going to be like Infamous is coming back or something. I was thinking the Infamous crossed my head because I was like, they're not going to have just announced.
I never thought
Wolverine. And then do Spider-Man 2.
Infamous fans must be pretty pissed.
I don't care about them. And then,
it's not really necessary though.
And
is
then
it?
Peter and Miles just come out and they're whooping butt, and they look. So I know it's a pre-rendered cutscene, but oh my goodness, do they just look incredible? And the reflections and the detail on their suits, and then they did the close-up of the suits and like the sort of bit after of the anyway, and then
It's second to none.
And then Venom is revealed like in the shadows,
That
and the
is
character
what
model
got me.
like
Yeah.
oh my, I mean, and I knew like we all knew Spider-Man 2 was going to be Venom. Because the symbiote is in the first one, that's fine. I'll
So that
remind
makes
you
it
there.
good
So
for me.
that's good. But just to see how creepy he looks,
Voice was
the
great.
voice was incredible. Sounded like Craven the Hunter. The first voice that you heard sounded a lot more like Craven, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm very intrigued by that. But just I've watched that trailer so many times. It's just like
It's a great trailer.
it was a fantastic. But leads me to believe you're going to be able to play all this in co-op as well.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not all of it, or just has a co-op, or like
It'll be like a GTA 5 type switching.
Potentially.
That's what I think it'll be. I don't think it'll be co-op.
I think I have a thought it might be.
Wow, Insomniac with all the posing all the questions
I
here.
know Insomniac are killing it, man.
They
Like,
are something else.
They really, really are. And
No,
I
I'm
love it.
definitely, because I think I gave you the impression that I was kind of like, AAA games, not into them at all. No, it is not so. Now that especially now that I've thought about Wolverine a bit more
Yeah.
in terms of
What it could be.
Yeah, I just
What it should be.
I assumed it would be open world somehow. So that definitely has me intrigued. And I was always going to be playing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've always Spider-Man has such a strong, everlasting place in my sort of nerd heart.
Of course.
There's
As
so
with
much,
all.
yeah, there's so much nostalgia there, and I'm so excited to get in amongst the Venom stuff because I think they're going to do some like hopefully kind of like quite horror-y things.
I think they will.
almost.
I think there'll be some elements. I mean, if the trailer's anything to go by, as in just kind of being really seedy, and it wasn't New York in the day. It was, dirty streets, and
I think there'll be some really cool set pieces with Venom.
and some people. I mean, they've interviewed some. They interviewed the voice of Venom, I believe, or he came out on Twitter saying like,
Oh, okay.
people were like, "Oh, it's so far away, 2023," and he was like, "This game is huge." Like, is what? No, I know that.
No, but
and
I'll
puts you off to a certain extent,
games
but-
are given a pass.
Yeah. Because my
they're
main
designed
concern is
so well.
They're designed so well. You can golden path them as well.
Exactly.
But also, the worry was we've had Spider-Man and then Miles Morales was in the same map.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it's still going to be Manhattan. There's going to be a familiarity to the map, but they'll maybe go to like Brooklyn and open up more boroughs of New York and stuff like that, which could be really cool.
Sounds like they
More interiors and stuff like that. Would be really cool as well.
Do
Like,
it.
Yep. So that was great. And then the last game,
What am I forgetting?
God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, God. Right, okay.
God
yeah.
of War Ragnarok. Oh my goodness! So this was the kind of middle section, mid to end section of the conference when the PlayStation Studios logo started appearing, rather than just like third party or second party or something like that. And that's when you knew you were in for that's when I knew I was in for a good time.
I actually quite like I mean, obviously I didn't watch it live, but when I realised how they did it,
Yeah.
I
Sort of bunching
actually
them all
like that
together.
format. It's as if it's almost like, and now for your main act.
Yeah, it's like the support act before the headliner.
They should feel like they can just fucking pow 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 at the end.
And it was pow pow pow. There was no downtime. There was a couple of games obviously that didn't interest me, but there's something for everyone at these conferences. I'm an advocate for that. But this was God of War at the end. I mean, it's a great extended trailer. It looks it just looks incredible. Like, obviously the first one looks still to this day incredible, of that reboot. So it wasn't like stylistically any different, but there was just moments where, you talk about vistas and Forspoken, there's just moments in that trailer of him going over some and opening up, and it just looked, so good.
There's certain bits of some of those levels in that trailer where I'm like, that has to be the most detailed in-game thing I've ever seen.
There's a bit where they're in the boat going through that little town. It looked like a sort of a wee town. There was so much going on. Just so little waterfalls, NPCs walking about, just so much movement. It felt so alive. And I'm not saying the first one didn't, but you were only really seeing a very small cast of characters, and I'm not saying this one's going to be like a massive ensemble cast, but there just seemed it just seemed so much more alive, and
incredible. It is how it is. The really, really top, like, these are the absolute peak of the mountain for the Sony ones.
Yep.
Where, yes, I have my foibles with giant games these days, but these are the ones that are the exceptions. If I don't play them right away, I will play them eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm invested in that story, because that God of War reboot was just right up there in terms of video game.
It's in my top 10.
Storytelling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I cannot wait.
It's best in class for that side of cinematic. It's a cinematic powerhouse.
They're not doing any more after this in terms of like this reboot.
Right, yeah.
This is the finale.
This is
of the story. So I could see this being very much like you can't play one without two, much like you can, to me, Last of Us Part 1 without Part 2.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to just be like one seamless thing for me.
For the immersion and detail alone, I'm in.
Yeah. So there's not much more to say about God of War other than it looks incredible. But to sum up for the PlayStation conference, this is exactly what I've been missing. Like, in terms of just getting hyped for a game. There was a moment when it got to when Spider-Man came out, for a split second I went Infamous, and then, oh no, Spider-Man, here we go. And then I got up, Kerry was sitting next to me, and I was like, yeah, and I stood up and I like slapped her leg. I don't know why. I was just so hyped. I just went like, yes. And she went, ow. And I went, I'm so sorry. I'll apologize properly in a second. And then I'm like, pure heck. I didn't mean to. I was not like I'm hitting my fiance or anything like that. But it was just a moment. Because usually I'd be like slapping my own leg, and I stood up and I just went like that.
So
and she was wearing shorts, and it was like the skin on skin, like, whoosh, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
So it was quite high up on the, like on the Skate 4 reveal Richter scale.
Oh, yeah, yes. That's what it felt like. Because that's the last time that I've really had that feeling, was the Skate 4 reveal.
I don't think whenever we're watching these or whatever reveals, I don't think anything will top that.
No.
Because when something makes you literally dance around the room for minutes.
Oh, we were dancing. It was like 1 a.m. as well, and we were like,
That was the one. That was the one.
But that's so context dependent though, because Skate 3 was 2010.
Yeah.
It was like 10 years after, at least Spider-Man 2 was, 3 years after the first game came out that we get the announcement for the second one. But I'm still super hyped on it, just because I wasn't expecting to see it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the Insomniac had, in my mind, they've already been twice this generation, but they've already been, and Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 are exclusive to PS5.
How are they doing it?
They must have like 4 teams. They must have 4 teams.
Because this is now like surpassing kind of levels of, how are they doing it in this than Naughty Dog.
Then blooming Activision and Call of Duty having like 3 main, I'm not saying they're coming out with a game every year, but it's getting to that level,
Totally. What I was going to say earlier was that, I almost feel like the Spider-Man games kind of have replaced Infamous, I guess.
Aye.
You kind of they can't really coexist. They're too similar.
Especially if Spider-Man 2 delves into the sort of, if Peter gets the symbiote suit, the black suit, and starts to, and Miles has to, the where my mind goes for the story, that Miles has to like bring him back, not from being evil, but from being the kind of slightly more morally ambiguous Spider-Man that we see in the comics. And
I think Carnage will be in it.
I don't think Carnage will be in this one, but they could do something with Carnage. I think Carnage is like the obvious choice in terms of like, because they're doing the new movie has Carnage in it and stuff. So
Yeah,
I think they need to do Venom first to then do Carnage. I think
I
that's a lot in one go.
I don't know why I always liked Carnage.
We'll go and see that film just for the sheer comedy of it.
Oh yeah, totally.
I don't think it was very good, but
I always remember. I don't remember if it was the first or second PS1 game. It used to creep me out.
oh yeah.
Carnage in that one.
Well, Carnage is, I mean, like Cletus Cassidy is like a serial killer.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like
it's really dark.
it's really dark. Yeah, really, really dark.
And I used to always. This is like extremely dorky and childish of me, but I used to always kind of in my mind have this kind of, what would the word be? Facsimile. Venom and Carnage were like Kane and the Undertaker.
Yeah.
There actually is quite a
red and sort of black, and
you know, and Carnage is the more kind of like off the wall sort of younger, I think, almost like a younger brother kind of dynamic. Yeah. I always found that quite. That can't just be me that thought of that.
No, it couldn't have been. There's a great graphic novel, Deadpool versus Carnage.
Oh wow,
it's really good.
Jesus.
And it ends with Deadpool becoming Carnage, like getting the Carnage symbiote and stuff.
Oh,
it was hilarious because Carnage chops him up into all these little bits, and then there's a bit of the symbiote left behind, and it
that sounds
forms
like
them back together.
Sounds like a Marvel fever dream.
Oh yeah, 100% is. Yeah, totally is. But it's worth a read. It's good fun. I've got it on graphic novel. But yeah, so PlayStation Showcase. What I wanted to end the episode on though was really talking about what we kind of have been throughout. So we don't need to go into too much more. But if you go direct competition, you know, look on Twitter after the Xbox Showcase or something like that. It's, you know, there's buzz, but it's turned up to 11 with a Sony press conference because it's not 2 hours long, 40 minutes, not wasting your time. Hit. A lot more downtime in an Xbox Showcase. I think anyone would say that. I don't even think I
think it's different.
It's different.
Sony really go for the jugular with just spectacular, you know, knockout moments, and they're good at that. Whereas Xbox now, they just kind of keep things ticking over.
Yeah.
They do lots of goodwill things. You know, it's a lot about Game Pass. Whether they meant that or not, the mind share with them is like, it's all about Game Pass and the value and just discovering things, and that's what it is for me. And you know, they've got their first party things that are mixed in with that kind of, and you know, the hope is that they're gonna continue to evolve their catalog to be something that is more competitive with Sony's AAA things. But
I just don't know how
they'll
they
never.
can.
No, they never will.
They
never will. But if they try their damnedest, fair enough. But yeah, it's different. It's different. I mean, it depends what you're into as well. But
at the end of the day, I would take a 40-minute PlayStation press conference once every year and a half, over constantly hearing from Xbox, from Ubisoft, from Square, you know, from any of these companies.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously the games speak to me more, so that, you know, there'll be people that say the exact opposite. They want to see Halo. I like Halo and stuff, but I don't know. There's a lot of downtime in any Xbox press conference. There's so much downtime, and there's, you know, they're talking about things that really just don't need to be spoken about on stage or in a, you know, on demand kind of stream or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, I think the only other company that does it close to the same level of hype is Nintendo for their directs. But even because, like, you know, they come out with these mini directs and no one really cares about them, but when a proper direct comes out and people are hyped on it, and they only do it like once a year. But even then, the last one of that was severely disappointing. So, you know,
apparently not to most Nintendo fans. I think you were quite outspoken on that.
I was quite outspoken on that, yeah. But
I barely even have the context. But I think for Nintendo fans, it's a similar, because that really is apples and oranges comparing the Sony first party stuff to Nintendo.
Yeah, that's so different. But
no, I know what you mean. Xbox aren't great at presentation.
No. Well, I mean, it comes down to like their user interface on the console. Like,
Yeah,
it's a company wide level thing where the presentation just isn't the same thing.
got an issue. Yeah, Microsoft have always just had an issue.
I mean, think back to when the pandemic was starting and there was like a expo, the first E3 or something. It was like developer interviews over Zoom with like, like the Apple earpods that come with the phone with the microphone on them and stuff. It was
we were kind of laughing.
And Sony
at that.
like had like sent out the same camera and like a green screen to every like interviewee or whatever, person who was getting interviewed. And so there was like lighting instructions must have, because it was all filmed remotely, but there was what would be the word, like a sort of unified feeling to the whole video, to the whole stream,
I mean, you would never know that it was done during that.
And they did a great job with this one as well. Like there was no, it was still done remotely, as it were, just for all these. There's my glass. For all these developers, and it looked great, and it was only 40 minutes long, and it was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, it always does sort of feel odd when the game companies seem to waste time on what comes across as gumph.
Yes,
because it's a bit like, is anyone into this sort of thing? And that's why Sony are good at that.
But they also, all these other companies spend too long on Game X. They spend too long on each thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the longest thing, I think, was the God of War trailer, really, and the PlayStation showcase. It gives you more time for more games. Do you remember, watching the Square Enix thing where they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was the whole half-hour thing? And
it was atrocious.
But you watched my reaction going from, oh yeah, this is cool, to the more. I just kept seeing more and more and more and more and more, and I'm going, get this off my screen right now. I went from being hyped to literally, I never want to see this game again. And yeah, it's a PlayStation thing. I'm not saying the PlayStation thing was perfect. I know I said that. It was.
There has been better showcases.
Oh, one with the live orchestra. That was the perfect.
Yeah, that was.
I'm so glad that we got to watch that live. That was awesome.
I think that was their kind of.
That was their Citizen Kane.
I always hate how the terms elude me when I need them most.
When you need them most.
That was their creative
coup de grace. I don't know.
Whatever the opposite of nadir is. I always seem to remember the negative one, nadir.
You're such a negative person.
Nadir would be like if they did something like that, but it came off really badly.
That's so un-nadir.
Yeah. I know exactly. It's on the tip of my tongue. Like not their swan song, because that's like their last one. Something else.
We get the picture. So, all in all, a worthy conference of an episode. Do you know what I mean? That was the thing. It deserved it, to me anyway. So thanks for playing along.
And the ironic thing is that after all that gushing and praising, what's next for me is actually turning on my Xbox and reminding myself what's coming on to Game Pass soon, or what has gone on that I missed, because that's what's been sort of taking me over gaming wise. But the Sony things are coming.
Yep.
And I will.
They'll be worth the wait.
Totally. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the PS5 still comes in handy for other things. It's still got the games on it that I'm going to be jumping in and out of. PES eFootball is this month.
I can't wait to hear what you say about that.
Yeah, looks terrible.
Yeah,
I can't wait to rip it to shreds.
Nice one.
Because it's free. Well, it's essentially just going to be a demo. It's launching as a demo.
It is launching as a demo. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. So I'll be playing that on the PS5. And jumping at Tony Hawk and I can
Overcooked, all you can eat.
I actually I still use it to most of the time when there's football, and I actually have to watch it through the PS5. Sometimes it's my only way.
Yeah,
because for some reason LG's smart TV doesn't have like Sky and BT Sports and all that.
Well, do you know why it doesn't?
Why? Because I don't know this.
Right, because Kerry used to work for Sky. The Sky Go app on PlayStation is not technically meant to exist. What it is,
Oh,
it's a
that's
version
right.
of the phone app because it can exist on phones and tablets. It's purely just a
Yeah.
version of that. Because if you're watching Sky on TV,
It's a license
they
thing.
they want you to be watching Sky TV, as in have a Sky box on your TV.
Right, of course.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whereas on a
that makes
handheld,
sense.
Sky Go makes sense. So it doesn't technically make sense to even be on the
It's a
PlayStation.
loophole.
It's their way of doing it. It's a loophole because it's an app, and they can classify it as an app.
That'll be the same for BT then.
Yeah, same idea.
But why? But you can still. But if you don't, it kind of still doesn't make sense though, because if you don't have any, if you don't pay for any skyage,
Skyage.
you can still
Skyage.
buy like packages without getting a box to stream and just watch it.
Because you could technically do it on your phone or
Like,
iPad.
but that they're not.
Sorry, because on Sky on the iPad, if you watch YouTube on the iPad and scroll and swipe down, you can AirPlay it to your TV. Sky Go does not have an option to AirPlay to your TV.
I'm actually surprised that they're still so behind the times.
I think it's a conscious decision. I think it's
No, but it is.
Well, it is.
They're consciously being behind the times. You know why? Because they're still ripping off so many old people
Oh my goodness.
that don't realise that they're paying far too much for TV content. That's why it still exists the way they are, because all these millions of old people are still paying for it, so why should they change?
Well, we got
But they're not keeping up with the times.
Now TV, which you would argue is their way of keeping up with the times,
Kinda.
but it's so bad.
Yeah.
We got it for free because Kerry worked there, and they gave us a 5-year trial codes. Mm-hmm. So we've just got it for. Kerry doesn't work there anymore. We just got it for 5 years, but
And apparently, so I tried to look this up because obviously you can get the Now TV app, right? Yeah. And when I was trying to search, apparently there's a way where if you have got a Sky packages and you have your Sky ID for the Go thing, apparently you could log into Now TV with that to then go and watch the things. But no, it absolutely does not work.
We'll
and
give you our Now TV login. Because we've got the full shebang, we can have like 3 people watching it at once.
All right, okay.
So
for 5 years?
For 5 years. So
and yeah, so I'm right in saying that includes like live sports.
Yeah, Kerry watches F1 on it.
Thank goodness. Well, I've now got one less reason to turn the PS5 on.
Sorry, PS5.
Listen, I still love it as a machine. I just don't use it that much.
I use it all the time.
I definitely play the Xbox for games a lot more, or have been so far.
Yeah.
But that's because
wait till the big games come out.
Yeah, I'm not buying games. I'm not, know.
It's a weird time. Whereas
definitely is.
Warzone's still such a thing for me, so the PS5's on like every night for me.
Well, I think that the plan that I had, right? Because I don't think we've not actually really talked about this so much in terms of a roadmap, if you will.
Oh.
But my plan,
DLC roadmap.
my plan was to kind of really blaze through all the Game Pass stuff, and that meant keeping up with things that were coming onto it as the months went on, and kind of exhausting it to the point where I was quote unquote caught up.
Yes.
Whereby,
which I've kind of done, but I had less games that I was playing. So
yeah, I've played I think quite a bit more, but and I'm still not quite there yet with it. I'm nearly there. I don't have that much of a backlog on it.
Just Sea of Thieves and Gears of War 5.
Yeah, in terms of that and things that maybe are coming on in the next few months. But yeah, I think in my head it was like, well, once I've reached that point, I can then kind of switch my focus back a bit more to PS5, and that in my kind of mind being my default main console.
Yeah.
Because it is, it's the more powerful one. It's got the more premium stuff on it, and that's what I hope for it to be. Just need to wait for game, because I keep saying that any games that I may have in my backlog, or whenever they do sales and stuff, probably it's going to be the primary console for third party stuff if it's on sale or whatever.
Yeah. The sales have just been.
I don't really know.
The sales have been rubbish.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's I'm in the same boat. I've been playing PlayStation 5 a lot more than the Xbox, but a lot of that's Warzone. But a lot of that was I've been playing a lot of these betas. Riders Republic and COD and stuff like that. So I've been playing a lot of that stuff anyway. But the PS5's definitely been on more. And there's not too much. Once like Halo Infinite comes out, Forza Horizon 6, 5, because no 5. Yeah, I'm a bit mixed up here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got in my mind that there was Halo 5, and this is technically Halo 6. So there we go. Forza Horizon 5 and stuff. So once these games come out, the Xbox is back on in full swing, and no problem with it. But I'll play some Psychonauts. I'll keep it for Descenders, jumping into that because I did enjoy it. Just let me play. But things like I've got Hades downloaded, ready to go. I want to try that out, and there's still every so often I'm still jumping into Halo multiplayer with friends just to have it there. So it's still going on, and I do want to play Gears 5. We should just play a bit of that while I'm still off. And then Sea of Thieves, and then we can tick those off the list.
I'm quite eager to. Those are the ones
we'll do them.
That
I know we say that every podcast, but
it's going to happen eventually.
You've been busy. I've not been, but you've been busy. So we will play them ASAP as possible.
It's coming
as soon as possible.
I
think I've said all I need to say.
Yeah. Did I have one last thought there? What was I thinking of there?
Did I have one last thought?
Well, that's just how I operate, yo. I don't know. I think I was going to make a joke about Flight Simulator or something.
Yeah, I'm not playing that game. I genuinely downloaded the whole 100 gigabytes, played it for 15 minutes and went, uh-oh, and then deleted it straight away.
Yeah.
Left it on overnight, downloaded, and then... That's another thing, sorry. Can we talk about this? I hate that it technically doesn't... The Xbox does not technically have a rest mode. It does.
I know.
But you need to go into the settings and change it to instant on, and you need to, if you're downloading something to the external hard drive, you need to make sure that
turn it
thing's
off
turned
again.
and then turn it off. But then I don't want it on all the time because I don't need it on all the time.
It uses more energy and stuff.
I go low, but I go to energy saving. But then whenever I want to download a game, I need to go back into the settings and change the setting. Hey, just have a rest mode for downloading.
The Xbox OS is awful.
I hate it
really
so
is.
much,
Yeah.
so much. Anyway. On that nice positive
How
note,
long have we gone, by the way?
hour and a half.
Really?
Bang on.
Oh, let's keep talking. We got time.
About what?
I don't know. Anything.
Anything. I watched, finally watched Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 and Jackie Brown. So that's me watched all the Tarantino
Been meaning
films.
to watch them properly.
They were
No,
great.
well, I've only ever seen bits of the Kill Bill films a long time ago, obviously.
Kill Bill?
So it didn't, you can't watch those films as a young'un.
Oh, no.
And I've never,
sense as a
I
young
couldn't
man.
even tell you what Jackie Brown even is.
Jackie Brown was good. It's definitely his weakest. But Tarantino's weakest is better than some people's strongest. So,
But didn't he have a film, what was the car?
The
Car one.
I do count that because it was directed by him, but it was like half length.
It's like a B movie almost.
It was a B movie. It was like a double feature with another director, did like one story, and he did the other half. I've not seen that, but I've heard it's trash. Maybe it's not though. Maybe it's not. But it's what's it even called? I don't remember.
Road Rage or something.
Something like that. Kurt Russell plays a stuntman with a
Something
car and he
Fury
kills people.
something.
I don't care. Jackie Brown was good. It was a bit of a sort of boring middle, and then like the ending was good on reflection,
but not Once Upon a Hot
we watched that last night, and it's just that's just such a good film. I love
that
it
climax
so much.
is something else.
But that's what I was kind of expecting in Jackie Brown, and
Yeah.
it has it in its own way, but it's not a violent film, and I don't need Tarantino violence to enjoy it. In fact, I actually find myself, give me a scene of dialogue that Tarantino writes and I'll watch it any day of the week. And it's got Robert De Niro in it, but I felt he was good in it, but he wasn't like, oh my goodness, De Niro, like level.
Is he the best filmmaker of all time? I think he's probably my favourite.
I think he's probably
On the balance of things. I mean,
the balance of things, like obviously, like my favorite films are Star Wars. And
I've not even
stuff
seen
like
them
that.
all, and I can comfortably say that.
Yeah. I mean, there's such a uniqueness. So this is not so casual movie reviewers.
We did say it was going to happen.
We did say it was
eventually.
eventually going to happen, but we need to We need to just sit and watch some of his together because we've not really watched any of his together.
Because right off the top of my head, when I think about, Django, Reservoir
Django.
Dogs, Once Upon a Time,
Inglourious Bastards. That's probably
so that's one I've not seen, but
that's probably my favorite film that's not a Star Wars film.
wow, so that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the three that I listed off are, for me, way up there.
Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Yes. Liked it. Not as much as the ones I listed.
Yeah.
Definitely still liked it, though.
I didn't get it at first, which is weird. Like, I got it, but
Well, I know
it kind of took me a moment. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a non-linear story, and the stories don't really intertwine. Then when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, I'm digging it.
I think it's not quite as bombastic as some of those other ones, and I think that is when Tarantino is at his best.
Yeah.
He does, like, wacky bombast better than anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
And even when you think of all these other serious film directors like Scorsese and stuff, I'm like, I'm sure they're great films, but when you compare them to Tarantino films, they're just boring. Sorry,
sorry,
but I'm sorry, but I have had The Irishman on my Netflix list since it came out, and nothing compels me to watch it.
It's so long, but Tarantino films are long, but they go by in a flash.
Totally.
Like that's the third time I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes long. It may as well have been 45 minutes long. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, for how quickly it all went by and
honestly,
stuff.
I can't think of anyone else that keeps knocking it out the park.
Yep.
Peter Jackson, one-hit wonder. Okay.
Yeah.
In my opinion, probably quite controversial to say, but
no, but The Hobbit is gash.
Yeah. And then your Inglourious Bastards for me is probably The Exorcist.
Interesting.
Which is nice. A controversial choice as well. I can't even tell you who that director is.
I have no idea.
I don't even know.
Yes, I don't know if that picked up on the microphone, but there was a dripping noise. What is that mysterious dripping noise? So
anyway, that's probably enough.
That's probably enough because we're definitely not talking about video games anymore. But we will watch Tarantino films together. You need to watch Inglourious. We'll watch it together.
I know.
Because I really want to rewatch it. And because I'm on that binge now. Like, I watched 3 of his films and I'm like, give me more. So I'm going to...
I still need to watch The Matrix properly.
No, you
but
don't.
Then I'm like,
no, you don't,
do I? Because are they not kind of quite hokey nowadays?
First one's really good. Second one's pretty good. Third one is trash.
Isn't it even the case that the whole idea and thing about the Matrix is now kind of hokey?
Yeah.
It's like,
I saw
it's good at the time.
I saw a tweet that was like, wait a minute. If the Matrix is real, can I just plug in and go back to 1999? Like, sign me up. Like, I don't want to be in this real world. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's so.
There you go. I don't need to watch the Matrix then.
No, you don't need to. You're fine. Well, thanks very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this movie podcast. This was episode 14. We're getting there. We're doing good. And thank you very much. And hope you enjoyed. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.